Hello everyone, welcome back to Neutralix. I'm your host cosolix, and today I'm telling you 10 things I learned from 1000 hours on Lance. Let's get right into this, but if you want a personal coaching session from me, go check out teamneutralix.com. The link to our team's website is going to be in the description, and you can buy a personal coaching session from me or any of the other coaches a part of Neutralix. There's also infinite content to help you improve your Brawlhalla, so you're going to want to subscribe. Let's get right into this. So I'm going to be talking about the tips midway through experimental games, and I'll just be kind of rotating between Lance characters. And a lot of these tips are applicable to all weapons. So the first tip I'm going to be talking about is tempo in advantage state. A lot of people don't know what I mean by that, but basically when you don't have a confirmed string, what's really good with Lance is going for tempo. So I'll dare in like the opposite way, and look at that, gets my opponent thinking that they can punish me. I dare in this opposite direction, and it just gets them moving. It's just like going for stuff that they obviously can't punish. I'm going to stare in this opposite direction, and they go for that end light. And the same thing applies on Axe, right? So I hit a combo, nair in the opposite direction, and you see him bite there. He thinks he can punish that nair, but he can't. So using tempo in advantage state, and tempo is just using moves to intentionally try and bait, right? It's just really useful. I dare in the opposite direction. Okay, there he stuffed me out. Let's say, you know, I hit a dare in the opposite. He just went in there, so I covered that in. I dare in the opposite direction, and look at that. He just dares towards me. I stare in the opposite direction. He stares towards me. I dare in this direction. Tries to punish it, and then it just gives me these neutral wins. And number two, don't force a way to win neutral. Look for openings. So let your opponent make themselves vulnerable before you try and do something. If you're attacking without them being vulnerable, it's fine, but not to do it every time. Take your time and make sure that your opponent put themselves in a bad position. And you can use attacks to bait. There's ways of pressuring to make them vulnerable, but don't attack if there isn't a good cause. And this is, again, for all weapons, but really something I learned after playing Lance for this long. Look at this tempo. He just side lights because of that. Yeah, the first tip is like game-changing. Crazy. So the third thing I learned from 1000 hours of Lance is to be patient when you're trying to find a kill option. On Lance specifically, but just like a lot of other weapons, there aren't necessarily kill confirms like what Hammer has with its downlight stairs and whatnot. So on Lance, you're gonna have to really take your time, and then you can be like, you know, you can go for other moves. Like there's Lance Endlight, which is a good kill option. Recovery, Sair. You can go for side light recovery or side light Sair, but really, like, when you're trying to get that kill option, don't fish for these Sairs and recoveries only. Moves like down light can put you in a good position to then hit end lights, right? So just be patient, go for what's right. Like right here, I'm gonna have to try and find a kill option very quick. This guy is sweating, but that's fine. We're gonna sweat back. With Hammer, I'm gonna be able to kill fairly easily, but I'll switch to Lance in a second. Okay, I had to do that. I had to. But yeah, just be patient with the kill options. I'll kind of show you at the end of this stock. Gonna use the stuff we talked about, like that dare in the opposite direction. Look at that, he bites, and I dare that way. He hits Sarah that way. Bought. Nair he hit. I'm gonna nair this way again. He went for something. And now we're going to try and find a kill. So instead of trying to force a kill, right, I'm just going to go for whatever works. Let's really focus and just see what works. Just miss that down light. I don't want to hammer. Catch. Oh, went straight through him. Go for that nair. And now, some people will struggle to find kill options, but I just go for the end light. Even though it doesn't kill, it was confirmed. It's good to be patient. Keep being patient. You can see it's going to kill eventually. No dodge, and he's dead. So it's good to be patient. You're going to find that kill eventually. Don't force it. And number 4, I want to talk about the optimal damage routes. So on Lance, I misinputted that there. But side light, dare, end light is only 1 dodge trim at the end there, and that is like so much damage. So really thinking about the optimal damage routes is like really important. He has no dodge, so that Sair is really good too. You want to make your life as easy as possible. You want to win neutral the least possible. So every time you win neutral, especially on Lance, but really all weapons, maximize how much damage you do. dodge. And it's that simple. It's going to make your life 10 times easier if you're hitting these combos. And you can only maximize damage if you're on the ground hitting these true combo starters. So go for these things that are going to lead to damage. If you're playing in the air too much, you're not going to lead to string starters or combo starters. So really focus on those key damage routes that just optimize as much damage as possible. So the fifth thing I learned from 1,000 hours of Lance is in neutral, it's okay to go for really high movement options. This is part of tempo, both in advantage state, but also neutral. Especially if you're trying to punish your opponent, but you're not 100% sure it's going to work, go for an option that is hard for them to punish, but can still get the hit. Like these nairs right here, he's finding it hard to punish me properly. I can go for a nair there again, and look, he missed, create an opening. So on all weapons, go for the moves that are hardest for your opponent to punish in order to break neutral. So Lance Nair is one of them. Lance Sair is also another one. Especially really high up, they're gonna have to like pick between if I'm going to the left or right, and this is something that Truck Stop is really good at. So I can Sair like this, it's just hitting him. Even on sword, right? Going for these high movement options, I can like dare, I can like move forward with it, and look at that, he missed. I can nair, move backwards. If I'm going for these end lights, this is a lot more punishable. I was able to dodge that. But just like that recovery, he actually punished it, but it's going for stuff that's hard for them to punish. And I'm dead here. But that's because I put myself off stage and wasted some options. Catch. Okay, catch. There you go for... you recovered back nicely. Nice. The sixth thing I've learned from 1,000 hours of Lance is learn your weapons, what it's good at. More specifically on Lance, I like being horizontally away from my opponent. That way, like that, I can hit those side lights. Or Sairs, if I'm horizontal away, I'm going to be able to win neutral more often because of how good dash is. And Lance is probably the most priority of any weapon horizontally. So it's kind of like my bread and butter at the end of the day. And I can hit those side lights, nairs. You can also like go in very easily with nairs like that. Didn't hit that well. Sorry, in the opposite direction, didn't quite work. Come on. Peace. And because I was horizontal there, I was able to hit that side light. You're going to find a lot more side lights if you're staying horizontal to your opponent. The next thing I've learned from 1,000 hours of Lance, spot dodge to go for reactions is really quite useful. So often I'll side light nair, spot dodge. Now he's got no dodge, and I'm in a really good position to react to that. You can see there, I'm pretty close. Wait. And it's just like, keep yourself still. Unless your opponent wakes up, there's no countering it. I'm just in a really good position to just react. I'm as close to my opponent as possible. No dodge on him, etc. I'm going to hit another side light nair, and I'm going to spot dodge. This is counterable with a wake up, but a lot of people just won't do this at Alito. Side light nair, spot dodge. He's got no recovery. I just barely missed that. I'm going to go for another side light nair. Spot dodge, and you spot dodge. And you see, I was able to react to their spot dodge because of my positioning. I was close enough to my opponent. So the eighth thing I've learned from 1,000 hours of Lance is that tight strings are good if they're hard to punish. Like you saw right at the beginning, I went for a dare nair. And you might be thinking, hey, that's not even close to being true. But the nair has so much momentum that it's just hard for my opponent to punish either way. That meant to be a nair in itself, but the Saren Light worked. But I'll show you some more examples. If I go for like anything Sair, if I nair like that, I can really control the steering. Let's say I try and, I don't know, let me hit something. Like that dare, for instance, it's a string, me going for that dare, so I'll go for it again. But you can see my opponent isn't even trying to punish it. So it's okay to go for things that aren't true. As long as your opponent can't punish it, it also creates tempo. And it's the same thing on axe, right? So I can go for these like dare and then a nair. And then like you missed, I go for dare, nair. And it's just hard for the opponent. Nair, nair, Sair, and you can see him struggling to try and punish it. So go for strings as long as you are moving throughout the string. And I'll show it to you one more time. Let's say, I don't know, let's say I hit like a nair. I can go for like nair, dare. So side light, nair, dare. You can't punish it. Nair, dare. Can't punish it. Dare, jump, nair. Didn't try and punish it. Punish it later. Dare, nair. Can't punish it. Nair, Nair again, and you can see what I mean. Oh, I had no dodge. This guy really thinks he's gonna get me. Down sig. Whee! Tip number 9 that I learned from 1,000 hours of Lance: don't go off stage against certain weapons. I'm a lot better than this person, so I'm comfortable going off stage, especially when I've got a lead. But against pros, I don't think I'll ever go off stage against Sight. And if I do, it's probably a mistake. It's just like other weapons are just better at off stage. Like if there's a hammer, I'm not going off stage. Scythe, I'm not going off stage. Gauntlets has Gauntlet Nair, I'm not going off stage. And you can kind of just see the pattern here. If a weapon you know is better off stage, why pick that fight? You have the option to force them back on stage. Like right there, I shouldn't have went off stage. That was dumb. I had 3 stocks, so it was worth the risk. But you see what I mean, is pick and choose your fights and know where you kind of have that home court advantage. I like being on stage. And that it took a while, you know, you got that demon on your shoulder that's like, go off stage, do it. But you shouldn't do it. Don't listen to him. So last but not least, the 10th thing I learned from 1,000 hours of Lance is that weapon throw downwards is probably the best way to reset neutral, especially on weapons that are so horizontal, like hammer, spear, and lance. Take a look at this. Let's say I get put in disadvantage state, right? And I'm trying to make it back to stage. I go really high up, weapon throw, it just stuffs him. Sure, he hit me after that, but that was more my mistake. Weapon throw is just such a good option. And I'll show you a little later too. Let me put myself in a disadvantage state in a little bit. And then you'll see it. Okay, I'm in a disadvantage state. You know, I'm going high. Weapon throw downwards. And I probably even could have comboed off that weapon throw. It's got no dodge. Didn't hit. Downwards. Probably shouldn't have went for that, but it's fine. Weapon throw downwards. On bow, it's a lot smaller, so you're going to have to be more careful. But on lance, it's just extremely solid. You'll probably see me use it very soon. Go high. I just saw he didn't have a dodge. And let's see if he can put me. And that was the momentum thing. I held back, and he didn't know. I dare. Oh, and he didn't know. Okay, going high. I need to reset neutral. Okay, I can. He's not chasing me. Okay, I need to make it back to stage. He kind of just let me by going for that, but weapon throw downwards, and you get a little follow-up from it. Double Dime was the king at this. I didn't think I'd get the downlight off. You know, weapon throw downwards. It's just such a good way of just, like, winning stage control. And just resetting. Weapon throw. What are you doing? Face. Face. I'm in the air. I'm above. Weapon throw downwards. Just barely didn't hit. You gotta be careful sometimes, obviously. It's not a guarantee. But it is just such a good option that will work for a long time. The only time it doesn't work is against some pros who know how to play around it a bit. But then there's always some solution to weapon throw in a different way. I'm just saying straight down. Even he did the weapon throw downwards, He did an axe, but axe is still a pretty big weapon. He's gonna down sig. No, he's not. Go high, go high, go high. No. Pew pew. Bye. Guys, I hope this video helped. Check out teamneutralix.com if you want some personal coaching. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace.